All right. So, Alex, you have the screen share. You're good. All right, I see that. So, I just want to introduce ourselves. I'm Corey Garriga, community organizer for the Latino Action Network Foundation. And then we have Alex Fonseca on this call, another community organizer. Alex was an influential member of the team when it came to map making. Alex worked with other members of this coalition that we were a part of called the Fair Districts Coalition. And Alex participated in making maps for this endeavor here. So with that said, Alex, why don't you take us from the start and just if you could give a breakdown of the districts that we're looking at and what that looks like.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna real quick just start off. I mean, Central Jersey, beginning of North Jersey, whatever you want to consider, the 17th, 18th, and 19th. But right here, as you can see, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th districts stayed relatively unchanged since the last map. That's because the tie-breaking vote, the commission as a whole, basically wanted to make as little changes as possible. And wherever that was possible, and that was possible the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Mostly because of deviation, which is the allowable population for each district, plus or minus, stayed the same in 17, 18, and 19. There was very little population increase and very little population decrease. So in the 17th, for example, which is New Brunswick's district, well, I'll just read it all to you. So the new map for the 17th is relatively the same. The only difference is that it lost Milltown. It lost Milltown and it added South Bound Brook. So now the district is made up of New Brunswick, which is obviously the biggest municipality of the district, North Brunswick, Piscataway, Middlesex County, Piscataway in Middlesex County, Franklin, and South Bound Brook. The deviation or the population is about 233,000 people, the same as it was in the previous cycle. Yeah, it's minority majority, so that's key. It's only 26% white and 27% Hispanic, 24% Asian, and 18% Black. So it is Hispanic influence, since the Hispanic population is the largest minority group in the district, along with being a minority majority. The incumbents are still the same, and Bob Smith, Joe Danielson, and Joseph Egan. So not much changed. Some notable, I guess, demographic changes in the district is that it has grown, significantly, especially within the Latino community, about a 7% increase since 2010, from 21% to 27% now in 2020. And moving east into the 18th, so that's the yellow district we see right over here. Another district that stayed relatively unchanged. The only change it had was that it lost Helmetta and added Milltown. And the district's made up of East Brunswick, Edison, Highland Park, Metuchen, Milltown, South Plainfield, and South River. Like the 17th, it's also minority majority, but this time it's Asian influence. I mean, or I guess you can say Asian influence, but I mean, instead of calling it Asian influence, it's not technically the Asian population isn't the highest demographic group in the district, but it's the highest minority group population in the districts, right? So it's at 35% Asian, 12% Hispanic, 7% Black, and 42% white. So like the 17th is minority majority, and the representatives, the representation of the district just stayed the same. Patrick Dignan, Rob Karabinchak, and Sterling Stanley. So this is one of the districts that the coalition and the commission focused heavily in trying to maintain that the Asian representation of the district, and although it wasn't possible to make it fully Asian influence, it is the largest minority group in the district, and that was something key for the coalition and also the commission as a whole. Moving further east, you can see the 19th here in green. That one stayed completely unchanged. Nothing changed in that district whatsoever. It still has Carteret, Perth Amboy, Sayreville, South Amboy, and Woodbridge. This district is Hispanic influence. It's the highest demographic group in the district at 37%. Then it has a white population of 33%, an Asian population of 18%, and a Black population of 10%. So like 17 and like 18, it's still minority majority. And it's a Hispanic influence, just like 17 is. And the representation is still the same in Joseph Patel, Craig Coughlin, who was the Assembly Speaker, and Ivan Lopez. And I guess you can move a little further north here into the 20th.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
So Ben Guy is asking if you can just give a breakdown of the census from 2010 to 2020 in the 18th district, I believe. Is that correct, Ben?
Well, yeah, just on all the districts that you're doing, like 17, 18, anything in Central Jersey region.
Yeah.
We just want to see where people are migrating to. So I apologize if there's an echo in the background.
Okay, so Alex, I guess whenever you get a chance, since he asked more specifically for all of them, if you can highlight a difference whenever you have availability.
I mean, I can get the census data from. I mean, I have the census data on the. I mean, I have what the demographic makeup of the district is in this current map.
Okay.
But I'd have to pull up separately the census data.
Sure thing.
It's fine.
Like I think the census. Are you asking like the census data? I mean, from obviously the one from 2020, but the different like the difference in demographics from 2010 to 2020.
Yeah, yes. And what you can do is you can finish your presentation and just send it to us offline. We just want to see what the migration is.
Yeah, want to
Or-
see what the difference is in change.
Yeah, so we know where people's going to and how we can get ahead of stuff. That's all.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I can send it over either to Corey and then he can send it to you, or I can just send it to you directly. Whatever's easier.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't even able to see the. I don't think I can see the chat box from here. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, Corey, just whenever someone like says something in the chat, just let me know. All right, so the 20th now. Pretty much the 20th is predominantly made up of Elizabeth. Again, didn't change much either. It lost Hillside and added Kenilworth. Again, not much of a change there in terms of population size. Two relatively small municipalities, one more white than the other, being Kenilworth, that was added to the district. I guess the biggest thing to note here is that it's not fully majority Hispanic, it's 49%. So I know that's something that Coalition was pushing for, but it just wasn't able to be done the way the commission drew the map, right? So it's sitting at 49% Hispanic, 23% Black, 19% white, and 4% Asian. So like the others, they're all minority. This is another minority majority district with the heavy Latino concentration, mostly coming from Elizabeth. And this is one of the districts that we noted, although this year it's not a majority, fully majority Hispanic district, it will be in 10 years. The growth was about 6 to 7% in the last 10 years. So went from 42% in 2020 or 2010, I mean, to 48% now in 2020. So that trend is expected to continue, if not increase, over the next 10 years. So that will be one of the districts that will also be a majority Hispanic district. And the representation is the same. It's Joseph Cryan, Atkins, and Ekikano. And it's made up of Elizabeth, Kenilworth, Roselle, and Union. And as I mentioned before, Lost, Hillside, and added Kenilworth. And going to the 21st, this is a district that's a little less diverse than the others previously mentioned. I guess the key losses of the district were Cranford, Kenilworth, and Roselle Park, some of which were added to the 22nd. But in replacement of Cranford, Kenilworth, and Roselle Park, Bernardsville, Chatham, Dunellen, Greenbrook, Middlesex, Peapack, and Gladstone were added to the district. It's about 70% white. You know, the representation is John Bramnick, Michelle, I don't even want, I'm not going to pronounce your last name because it's not going to come out right. And then Nancy Munoz. So all GOP incumbents. The district was leaning D before this new map, but now with the district has trend, it's been trending Republican. We saw that also in the gubernatorial election a few months back, and it actually favors, or this new district actually voted for Citarelli by about a percentage point, as opposed to Murphy.
That severe weather could further spread some big wildfires.
So, the district went from being lean D to lean R. So it is a swing district, but I guess that's probably the key change the district saw, was kind of that political shift from D to R. It was always relatively white and remains so. And now moving towards the 22nd, you can see right here. This is a key district. It's growing both population wise and demographically. Right, so it's another majority district. It's only 38% white, and it's 33% Hispanic, and 21% Black. So the Hispanic population is the largest minority group in the district. The district is growing rapidly. The Hispanic population of the district is growing rapidly. In fact, it grew by 9 percentage points in the last 10 years, mainly being fueled by Plainfield and Rahway. The district could have been even more Hispanic had it not lost Dunellen, Middlesex, and Greenbrook. Right, these are 3 municipalities that the 22nd lost. And particularly Dunellen and Middlesex are 2 municipalities that have a substantial Hispanic population in terms of percentage wise. They're obviously small municipalities, so it won't make a big difference in terms of the overall district, but percentage wise, those are 2 municipalities that have a pretty substantial Hispanic population that the 22nd lost. But it added Cranford, Roselle Park. And overall, the district is made up of North Plainfield, Clark, Cranford, Fanwood, Linden, Plainfield, Rahway, Roselle Park, Scotch Plains, and Winfield Park. 90% of the district is Union County, so it's pretty much a Union County-based district. And the representation is the same. Nicholas Katari, which is the Senate President, Linda Carter, and James Kennedy. And then moving to the 23rd. Right, we're now starting to get into the more rural parts of the state. Right, not much change. Not much change there. Can we find the 20? Right, there it is. Let me zoom out. So the 23rd, right, rural district, heavily conservative, very white. In fact, 70% white, and then only 14% Hispanic, 8% Asian, and then 4% Black. Again, like I said before, heavy Republican, and the representation is Michael Doherty, Senator Michael Doherty, John DeMeo, and Eric Peterson, and they have relatively safe seats for the elections to come. And I'm not going to read off all the municipalities because there's a bunch, since it's a pretty rural district. But I guess they lost Clinton, it lost Clinton Township, it lost Frenchtown, Highbridge, Kingwood, Lebanon Borough, Peacock, and Gladstone, and South Bound Brook. And it was replaced by Blairstown, Frelinghuysen, Hardwick, Hope, Liberty, Manville, and so on and so forth. So, overall, it's a rural district. It's a very white district, not very diverse whatsoever. and very Republican. And the same is true for the 27th, for the 24th, which you can see up here, predominantly Sussex County. This district is it's 80% white, so more so than the 23rd, and only 11% Hispanic and 4% Asian. Right, not much changed here. Still has Steve Oro, Parker Space, and Hal Riths, all Republicans, and it looks like it will stay that way. And then moving into the 25th. Another district that's very white, that's 67% white, 21% Hispanic. So this Hispanic population is the highest, minority group in the district, and it has an Asian population 6%, and Black population of 3%. It leans Republican. Chiarelli won the district, or what would be the district, by about 8 to 9 percentage points. A little more so Republican than it previously was prior to the iteration. And the representation is the same. Anthony Bucco, Christian Barranco, who may I note is the only Latino Republican in the legislature, and or done. Now let's move to the 26th. 26 is another district that's also very white, 67% white, 17% Asian, 10% Hispanic, and 3% Black. Another district that's also heavily Republican. Whose incumbents are Joe Panaccio, Brian Bergen, and Jay Weber, and it looks like they're all Republican. It looks like it will stay that way as well. The 27th has some notable changes, which is, I'll zoom in on it. It's like that neon green like color. So I think the biggest change in the 27th was Montclair. Montclair being added to the 27th changed the district significantly, both demographically and politically. Right, first of all, it's now a majority district, which is a big deal. It's 49%, again, not by much, but it is a majority district, 49% white and 51% minority. So that qualifies as a majority district. The Hispanic population is 22%. So the Hispanic population is the largest minority population in the district, 13% Asian and 12% Black. It's the district's even more, even though before it was more white, it was also still very liberal, and it's even more so now. In fact, Murphy won what would be the district by about 37 to 40 percentage points. So like I said before, Montclair was added, Clifton was added, and it lost some of the more whiter towns, such as Caldwell, Chatham, East Hanover, Essex Falls, Florham Park, Hanover, Harding, Madison, Maplewood, and South Orange. So it's one of those districts again that was not minority majority, and now is. Also, another important thing to note is that some of the districts were redrawn to have 4 incumbents. So it kind of put incumbents against one another. Again, the commission tried to do that as little as possible, but right, it wasn't possible to do it every district. Just population wise, you had to redraw certain places, for whatever reason, and they put incumbents in the same districts as others. And so in this one, we have Richard Cody, Nia Gill, Tom Giblin, and John McKeon. So there will be a face-off between incumbents in this district. And I'm moving towards the 28th, which is an Essex-based district, pretty much. This is our majority Black district. Let me zoom in. Let's see right there. So, and not much really changed in the district. Hillside was added to the district, Maplewood was added to the district, and South Orange was added to the district. And those 3 municipalities actually make up for 30% of the district. And they replaced Bloomfield, Glen Ridge, and Nutley. And And so the Black population is 67% Black, so it's the majority Black district, both by VAR and voter rate population. It's 13% white, 13% Hispanic, and 2% Asian. And the representation, we have Ronald Rice, Mila Jassy, and Cleopatra Tucker. It looks like it will stay that way as a district is very democratic and trending more so in recent elections. So overall, the district is made up of Irvington, Maplewood, Newark, South Orange, and parts of Newark, South Orange, and Hillside. And then going to the 29th district. That one is not majority Hispanic, but it's very close. It's about 48%. Yeah, it's also one of those districts that will probably be inevitably be a majority Hispanic in the next 10 years. Right. I mean, it's a district that only 10 years ago was 38% Hispanic and then grew to become 45% Hispanic. So about a 7% increase in 10 years. And it was drawn to be 48% Hispanic. So, right, that 7% increase in the last 10 years is only expected to continue, if not grow. So like the 20th, the 29th will probably be the additional majority Hispanic districts. Those are two districts off the bat that will most likely be majority Hispanic in the next 10 years. And it stayed the same, really. I mean, not much change. It lost Belleville, and it did add East Newark and Harrison. They have two municipalities that have a pretty substantial Hispanic population in them. And the rest of the demographics are 30%, 29% Black, 12% white, and 4% Asian. And representation, you have Teresa Ruiz, Indiana Pintor Marin, and Shanique Spite. And it will continue like that, for the next several elections, because the district is very heavily Democratic. So overall, very much parts of Newark, the parts of the 28th doesn't have. East Newark, I mean, I think I'm looking here, let's see. Looks like the East Ward, the North Ward, and I want to say most of the Central Ward, and then portions of the South and Western wards of Newark. So again, Newark is pretty much split between the 29th and the 28th. So that's going to the 30th now. 30th. Yeah, I can't even. 1 second. Yeah, I can't even find the 30th right now. Hey Corey, if you see the 30th on here, let me know, because
Yeah, I'm looking as well.
I mean, it's. Oh, that's right. It's oh my God, that's right. It's a weird one. It's in South Jersey. You know, I'm not even gonna talk about that one. That's just for the
Yeah,
South.
that one has to be done next week.
Right. Yeah. All right, now the 31st, Hudson County. This is probably the trickiest part of the process, mostly because it's also the most overly populated part of New Jersey. Right, we went into the process with deviations upwards of 7 and 8% plus. So these districts had to undergo major changes to get the populations where they should be, where they legally should be for redistricting. So the 31st, as you have here, this is another majority district, and well, first of all, it includes Bayonne, all of Bayonne, all of Kearney, and parts of Jersey City. I would say about half of Jersey City, about 40 to 42% of Jersey City is in the 31st. particularly Ward A, Ward B, most of Ward B and F, and a small portion of Ward E. So overall, pretty much the southern part of Jersey City, some, and and not much change really. It didn't lose any, and it just added Kearney. So the district is a minority majority, 33% Hispanic, 28% white, 22% Black, and 12% Asian. So this is one of our Hispanic influenced districts. So even though it's not majority, it is the largest demographic group, along with the largest minority group in the district. And the representation, we have Sandra Cunningham, Angela McKnight, and William Sampson. And then moving to the 32nd. The 32nd is another minority majority district, which includes just Hoboken and Jersey City, the northern part of Jersey City that was left out of the 31st. So the other district was 42%, and this would have to be 50. So 58% of Jersey City is in the 32nd. Right, so all the northern half, Ward C and D, and then most of Ward E that wasn't included in the 31st, and then parts of B and F that also weren't included in the 31st. And again, it lost Union City, it lost Weehawken, but it added parts of Jersey City. So overall, it's 40% white, 30% Asian, 20% Hispanic, and 5% Black. And yeah, the representation, it's Annette Chaparro, Raj Mukherjee, and the incumbent is TBD. So we'll have to wait for the upcoming elections for that to see who officially becomes the next incumbent in that district. So yeah, most of Hudson County, these Hudson County districts are mostly all minority majority. The 33rd, obviously, along with it being minority majority, it's also a majority Hispanic. So it has a Hispanic population of 68%. So very heavily Hispanic, and part of the coalition, and this is the same as true for the 28th, for District 28. That's about, I think 28th is, I said it was 67% Black, and the 33rd is 68% Hispanic. There was some concern with, this might look like packing, right? Like racial gerrymandering, and there could be a legitimate argument made for that. The coalition, that we were part of brought that up as well, because our map, it was not like that. It was not like that. It was more spread out. We still maintain the majority Black and the majority Hispanic districts without making them so, heavily concentrated in one race or the other. Making it look almost as if they were racially gerrymandered. But at the end of the day, right, the commission, voted on the map that made the 28th 67% Black and the 33rd 68% Hispanic. So the 33rd is 60% Hispanic, 18% white, 9% Asian, and 3% Black. It lost East North, it lost Edgewater, it lost Fairview, it lost Harrison, it lost Kearney. And it added Union City and Weehawken, the key there being Union City, a very Hispanic city. And pairing that with North Bergen, right, obviously makes it very Hispanic. So it includes Guttenberg, North Bergen, Secaucus, Union City, Weehawken, and West New York. Again, this is another one of those districts that, did include Sacco and Stack going head to head against each other. And I know one of them dropped out. Is it Stack? Corey, correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
Sacco dropped out.
Sacco dropped out. Yeah,
Yeah.
he ceded to Senator Stack.
Yeah. I knew one of them dropped out. So yeah, so now it looks like, right, Stack, Jimenez, and Mejia in the district. So I guess that solves that problem of four incumbents in the district. So now moving to the 34th. Let's see here. The 34th is another minority majority district, as are many in this area of the state. And the highest minority group in the district is the Black population, right? So the Black population is at 39%. The Hispanic population is at 26%. The white population is at 24%. So minority majority, with the Black population being the highest minority group in the district. And you guys can also see here on the side, like the numbers I'm reading off of. I mean, I'm not reading off these exactly, but you can also see the demographic numbers here. And some of the numbers I'm saying might be different than what you're seeing on my screen, because on the right side you can see like right. I think that's like right now. So right, hang on, I'm gonna select the 34th. So you're probably seeing like some of the, like I said the district was, so it's, some of these numbers are different because it's voting age population, and others are overall population.
So,
but-
so Alex, we actually had a question on that I want to touch base on, and just give me 1 second here, since you're on it right now. Zainab is asking you if you can confirm that the voting age population is the number of residents eligible to vote. And he's saying that Zainab is also saying that they're assuming that the total is included in the total population. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And just like Alex said, if you look at the districts when he highlights it, you'll be able to see that breakdown. Is there a specific district that you were looking for, Zainab? All right, I don't see anything there. All right, go ahead, Alex. You could continue.
Right. Yeah. And also, I mean, again, it's not, eligible to vote, right? That can mean, right, citizenship status, age, being registered to vote in general, things like that. So that can be a variety of reasons. Did I miss anything, or am I? All right, let's see.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, went over the 34th. Going to the 35th. Here a little bit. So the 35th is our other. You can see here another majority Hispanic district, majority. So it's over that 50% threshold. So along with the 33rd, this is our other Hispanic, majority Hispanic district, which is 53%, 21% white, 18% black, 5% Asian. It's the same, right? The commission, the tie-breaking vote especially, focused heavily on changing districts as little as possible, wherever wherever it was possible to not change them, wherever the population allowed them to not change it, right? So that was the 19th. I know the 19th didn't change at all. The 35th here didn't change at all. And the 35th, and the biggest municipality, there's Patterson. You also have Prospect Park, North Haladon, Garfield, and Elmwood Park. So it same as it was 10 years ago. And just like the 19th, same as it was 10 years ago. We had a couple today that, like the 17th, the 18th, the 20th, where they might have lost or gained just one municipality. But that was the goal of the commission. All right, kind of keep the map similar to how it was previously, wherever that was possible. And then then come into, you have Houston and Poe, you have Savannah Sumter, and Benji Wimberley. Now moving into the 36th, a district that changed a little bit. It's still a majority. So 42% Hispanic. So it's Hispanic influence, along with it being minority majority. It's also Hispanic influence meaning the Hispanic population is the largest demographic of the district. At 42%, it's also 40% white, 11% Asian, and 4% Black. The district lost Little Ferry, Moonachie, Richfield Park, South Hackensack, and Teterboro, and added Edgewater and Fairview. So as a whole, the district includes Carlstadt, Cliffside Park, East Rutherford, Edgewater, Fairview, Lyndhurst, North Arlington, Ridgefield, Rutherford, Wallington, and Woodridge, and Passaic. So Passaic is really fueling that Hispanic population of the district, which is 40%, making it, as I said before, Hispanic influence in the representation. You have Paul Sarlo, Clint Calabrese, and Gary Schreier. Now going to the 37th. Another district that is minority majority. It being 33% white, 27% Hispanic. So the Hispanic population is the highest minority group in the district. 24% Asian. So another district that has a pretty high Asian population in it, and a 13% Black population. It didn't change much. It only added Richfield Park, but it also lost Alpine, Crestkill, Northvale, and Rockley. Another very democratic district, and the incumbents are Gordon Johnson, Shama Hyder, and Ellen Park. All right, just three more now. I'm going to the 38th, Paramus area for a while. Another district that didn't really change much. It only lost Hawthorne and nothing else. It added Little Ferry, Moonachie, South Hackensack, and Teterboro. This district is 54% white, so no minority majority population, but it is 22% Hispanic. So, once again, the Hispanic population is the second highest minority group in the district. It's 17% Black and 17% Asian, I'm sorry, and 4% Black. And the incumbents are Joseph Lagana, Lisa Swain, and Christopher Tully. Now to the 39th, which is a Bergen County based district. The district is 100% Bergen County. And pretty big, in terms of square miles, a very large district. Obviously all the same population wise, but a very white district. It's the second most white district today that we've gone over, sitting at 71% white, 14% Asian, and 10% Hispanic, and 2% Black. It lost Bloomingdale, Ringwood, and Wanakee. It added a bunch of municipalities: Allendale, Alpine, Crestkill, Hococus, Midland Park, Northvale, Rockley, and Waldwick. So again, very, very white, leaning Republican. Chiarelli had about a 7-point edge in the previous election. So pretty much where it was previously. And finally, District 40 is another district similar to the 39th, very white. Right there, District 40. So 73% white. You have the 13% Hispanic, 8% Asian, and 3% Black. And there you are, very Republican. And you have Kristen Corrado, Krista Phillips, and Kevin Rooney, all GOP, and it looks like it will stay that way as well because the district is a pretty safe Republican district. So, those are all the districts. Those are all the, I guess, northern Jersey districts. If you consider, the 17th, 18th, and 19th North Jersey. If you guys have any questions, just shout them out. I'm looking if I missed anything in the chat. So I'm not able to see the chat box while I'm sharing my screen.
All right. So, Alex, thank you so much for that breakdown. I do have a couple of just questions to ask. Now, I noticed that you were using Dave's Redistricting for the maps, right? Could you just give our audience a little breakdown as to what Dave's Redistricting maps are, what that website was, how you used it, and why that website was important during this redistricting process, please?
Yeah, so we used, I mean, officially the software that was supposed to be used, and that was used at the end of the day, was Maptitude. I mean, that's what you needed. That's what we needed the maps to be on. Like, so the Fair Districts New Jersey Coalition, which is what we were a part of, the map that we submitted to the Redistricting Commission, both the legislative and congressional, had to be on Maptitude, which is, a pretty complex software. I mean, I took a whole class on it last semester, and which is why I was, partially the reason why I was, one of the map charts for this, and I still had a very hard time maneuvering myself around it and figuring it out. Which is also, this leads me to Dave's, which is why I think Dave's is an amazing thing. I mean, Dave's is very easy to use, very user friendly. Anyone can use it. It's on the internet. You don't have to have a special computer. You don't have to download a special, antivirus program, and so on and so forth. It's like, the process for Maptitude was like, I mean, days and days to download on your computer. And Dave's is a very friendly thing. Everyone used it. You don't have to be a designated map chart to use Dave's, right? I mean, so I think Dave's is great because it made the process more unified, and everyone was able to pitch in and not just give their ideas verbally, but actually demonstrate it on the actual map. And I think that was a big win for all of us, kind of being able to see what everyone wanted, and even though at the end of the day, right, we had to send it back, we had to transfer it back onto Maptitude, and that was a process, in and of itself. But Dave's is great. That's what I was showing you on the screen, and that's what we used it more for the legislative process than the congressional, but it was great, very helpful overall.
Okay, I do have a question. You mentioned Montclair being removed from its original district and placed into a new one. Could you explain how a change like that, how that affects the rest of the maps, the rest of the map making process? And could you explain how it's an advantage political, if it's a political advantage or political disadvantage, please?
I mean, I don't, I'm trying to go back to Montclair's district. Here we go. Yeah. I mean, listen, politically, I don't think it's, it's a win or loss. I think the 27th which was the district that Montclair was added to. I mean, even though you still had Caldwell, Chatham, East Hanover, Maplewood. I mean, these are very affluent districts. I mean, very affluent municipalities, very white municipalities. But at the end of the day, they were still very liberal in terms of who they voted for. And Montclair made it even more liberal, made it more democratic. So politically, I mean, Richard Cody, Nia Gill, Tom Giblin, John McKeon, and these are all people that, again, even though it's a 4-person race, people can be battling it out. It's still going to be represented by Democrats, unless something drastic happens. But politically, yeah, it's the same. But I think the key here is that I think that now that it's minority majority, I think that it gives whether it's the Black population, the Asian population, the Hispanic population, more representation. It makes their voice heard. Now you have 51% of the districts that you have to listen to. That is minority. So whether that's electing a Hispanic representative, a Black representative, an Asian representative, it gives those communities more of a say in who they're going to vote for, who the representative is going to be. Because before, it wasn't as diverse as it is now. So I think it's more of a demographic, like more of a representative win than a political win, in my opinion.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for that breakdown there.
Someone said something in the group, in the chat.
Let me see here. Okay. Bruce Morgan was asking if that doesn't pit economic classes against one another.
What do you mean by that? Like,
Bruce, do you want to unmute yourself and explain your question?
I'm talking about when you're putting that Montclair and that Chatham bunch up that way. Those are quite opposed economic bases. So, that I think that's really what's going to make the four-way race. It's going to have a lot of effect upon that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. These maps are, they're drawn in a way that they're supposed to reflect a certain number in that population, and ultimately, the way that these maps are drawn affects legislation. So, ultimately, you're right, and the way how this is done, it's going to ultimately affect what policy is passed in New Jersey. Coming out of those new maps. And these are the maps that we're going to have for the next 10 years. Don't forget, in December, the state commission for the congressional maps, certified their map, and that's out. And, the state commission for the legislative apportionment, they've done their maps, that's certified. That's all good to go. So this is the landscape for the next 10 years. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up the second series. We've already done the first one where we've gone over the congressional maps. We've had a discussion on that. That was back in January. And next week, we will be going over the southern part of New Jersey, the change in the maps there. Just like today, it's going to start with New Brunswick and work its way down. And Alex will explain any changes there as well. So if you saw anything on today's maps and you're interested in joining up next week, let us know. And we'll get you those the sign up sheet for that if you're not already registered. I'm just going to put my email address in the chat, and if you're interested in registering for next week, send me an email and we'll get you that link. Any initial questions right now? Oh, we got Cookie. Go ahead, Cookie.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you to Bruce and Benjamin because we're really Central Jersey focused. And I wonder if you have any reactions to the way the maps are presented to you tonight. I know how very involved you are in this, government around here, and I love you guys for that. But if you don't have any questions about the maps that were presented, do you have any reactions to what has been presented? That's for Ben and Bruce.
I repeat the question for Cookie. I didn't hear you.
No worries. So first, again, I want to say thank you for being here and thank you for all the work you do and how much you pay attention to this, because we need so much more to do that. But if you don't have any specific questions about the presentation of the maps as they now will be for the next 10 years, do you have, both you or Bruce, have any reactions to what you've seen here tonight as a result of the new maps for our area in Central Jersey?
Well, as I look at it, I don't really, it's pretty much what we asked for. There's not much change anyway, which is kind of what we was looking for. So I think we're in, I'm talking more or less 17, 18, and 19. We're still in pretty good shape with what we wanted, and I think we're in a good position to grow in the direction we're looking to grow in. Because I know
Thank
when I
you,
was working
Bruce.
with I worked with some people from a Social Justice Institute, and man, we created a couple of maps and played a couple of them. It's basically what we asked for.
Yeah, so my thing is, you can hear me real quick. Sorry, I apologize because I got 2 meetings going on in the back.
Yes,
One of the things that I want to say is that we just need to look at the age demographic, because one of the key factors that's here we need to look at from an age demographic standpoint is that the people that are aging out, like a lot of seniors that are getting older, we need to look at what that looks like, and we also need to look at the younger population, like the Rucker, because we're getting Rucker's influence, and because the state is getting bigger in that area, and then because of the big thing, a lot of stuff people are saying, working from home and working and us building up more. We need to look at those specific topics, because that's going to influence heavy on what the election looks like, not now, but in the next 4 years. Right. Because with Brunswick expansion, North Brunswick expansion, South Brunswick expansion, also Franklin expansion, and also Piscataway, with what's going on in the warehouse districts that are here, that's going to affect 17 real heavy, and then 18 is going to be really affected a lot during the time frame. I'm not sure what's going on in Perth Amboy. I have to go look at the data on Perth Amboy, what they're doing for waterfronts over there. But I know that it's a heavy expansion that's going to happen for younger populations with individual households. That's going to influence what they're going to do as far as their voting block is concerned. So that's one thing that I'm looking at heavily right now during this period of time.
you know, Ben, let me say this to you, Ben. I'm gonna get you some new headphones, or we gotta get you out of that spot when you in meetings, because this happens with you all the time. I love, and we're hearing a lot of what you're saying, but it's so broken up. Do you need headphones, baby? I'll buy it for you with a microphone.
Yeah, let me see if I can get one, and let me see if I can get some headphones real quick. But Zainab, I'm here with the Black Caucus. Black Caucus.
Yeah, no worries. I'm sorry, was someone else trying to speak while he's trying to find a good spot?
Yeah, so like I had to I'm actually in the same location as Ben. This is Zainab Sisse with the chair of the Somerset County Democratic Committee Black Caucus. One of the things, if you guys, just in terms of follow-up, what I'd like to see, I want to see what the differences are in terms of demographics from an age perspective, in all of the demographics, in terms of, you know, how we changed, right, from 2010 to 2020, right? And I want that broke. If you guys could send that information, I'm sure you have the data, slice it by, you know, age demographics, male, female. That's going to help us now in terms of, and I'm sorry for being selfish, our own targeting efforts when it comes to GOTV, right? Because how I market and try to get people out to vote in the 18 to, let's just say, 24 demographics is going to be a lot different than someone in that 45 to, let's just say, 60. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I can see that by area. That's going to help me now in terms of strategizing when it's time for this big election, how I go and attack those people or target to them and market to them to get out to vote.
So, are you able to see the chat right now on the app, the Zoom app?
Yes.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind taking a screenshot of my email there,
Okay.
that's cgariga@landfoundation.org. Shoot an email with your name, and just if you could put in an email what you're looking for, and we'll get that right over to you.
Okay. We can get down, dig deep into the data. That just helps me now, right, with my constituents, because, you know, as Ben said, I think we're in the same area, right? LD District 17 and 18. To better get out there, get out the vote, right, and know how to target different demographics. I need to understand how we've changed from 2010 to now.
And I'd give you an example, Zani, because in the last census, one of the things I remember clearly was that when they talked about it, they talked about Camden, that the entire city of Camden was under 25 in age. That was very significant for them to do some things around GOTV and things like that. Whether they did or not, I couldn't tell you, but that was a significant number of people paid attention to that. And I wonder, because we know we'll have large senior populations around here, but there's more going on here, and those are very valuable data data and demographics.
They're very valuable, but the way I market and target them is totally gonna be
Exactly.
different, right? The way than I do the youth. And by the way, they may need special services to get to the polls, right? But I don't know that unless I dig into the data and see what has been that change over a 10-year period, right? How have we changed? Do we have more of the aging population versus younger, or vice versa? And what materials and tools do we need to get out to them?
Yeah.
So what I'll do, just send me an email. Let me see what information I have and I can get it to you. Alex was just informing me that we may or may not have that specific info, but we'll see what we can get you.
So I'm not, I mean, not a county, so I mean, again, this is something that I looked into. I mean, like, I know land itself, right? So, you know, we try to find this, you know, this information for the Latino population, and, you know, it was hard to find. But again, also, this was before the districts were made. So I can find a way of going back onto Maptitude and seeing, you know, what's available there, what I can see on that and what I can't see. I know I can do it on a municipality basis and on a county by county basis. And so if I find a way to, like, you know, put that in, I guess, I don't know, like, find a way to put that in the district, and I don't know, like, would a county by county basis thing work, like, in certain districts, or would you want
So-
just district as a whole?
My question would be, now that the maps are drawn, is that something that what we might consider a friendly legislative office might be able to get that data for us? Would they be looking for those kind of demographics themselves within that map drawing? Or,
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's got to be information that's easily available in a legislative office, you know, but
The high possibility, Cookie, high possibility that we could, that's where it could be found. High possibility.
so.
Absolutely.
no need to do it hard work if we can make a phone call, right?
So what I'll do now, we have met our time, and you know, some of us on this call do have to be in other meetings. So what I do want to do is thank you all for joining us on this session. Like I mentioned, next week, same time, next Monday, the 28th, 6:30, we will be going over the southern maps. It'll start with New Brunswick, just like we did today, work its way down. Alex, I want to thank you for going over these maps as well. And I want to thank you for your work working with Christian and the other map makers, because I know this was not easy. So, you know, looking at Maptitude myself, I was like, nope. So thanks again.
Corey, I'd like to just caution you right quick. And when you get that data, that you be careful on how you get it and how you turn it over, because if you're getting it from a legislative office, you can't turn it over to a political office.
Understood.
You know, protect yourself.
Understood. Thanks for the friendly reminder. Appreciate that. Again, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we see you all next week.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.